It started as a swirl of clouds far out in the Atlantic, another tropical system in a long hurricane season, but within days it grew into something no one expected. By Tuesday morning, Hurricane Melissa had become a monster. The air over Jamaica was thick and electric, the ocean roaring louder with every gust. Dark clouds rolled in from the north, turning morning into twilight. Warnings blared on every radio. Take cover! Stay inside! People boarded windows, prayed, and waited. But the wind was already here, and it wasn't waiting for anyone. At 8 a.m., the eye wall came ashore near Montego Bay, with winds near 185 miles per hour and a pressure of 892 millibars, one of the lowest ever recorded. Roofs lifted, cars floated, entire neighborhoods vanished beneath the surge. For 6 relentless hours, Jamaica faced the full force of a Category 5 hurricane. Then, as the storm pulled away toward Cuba, silence returned. The kind of silence that only follows destruction. This was Hurricane Melissa, a storm that carved its name from Jamaica to Cuba and left the Caribbean forever changed. At 8 a.m., October 28, 2025, the eye wall of Hurricane Melissa slammed into Jamaica's northwestern coast, just west of Montego Bay. The storm hit as a Category 5 hurricane, sustained winds of 185 miles per hour, gusts over 200. The first impacts were immediate, transformers exploding, roofs torn off, cars overturned. In Hanover Parish, entire homes were ripped apart. Sangster International Airport suffered catastrophic damage. Terminals flooded, walls collapsed, and the main runway submerged beneath water and debris. By mid-morning, Jamaica's power grid was gone. 80% of the island plunged into darkness. Winds screamed like jet engines. You could hear metal bending and twisting in the air. 25,000 tourists, stranded in resorts, huddled in basements, clinging to mattresses as glass shattered around them. A hotel worker in Montego Bay said, "We could hear the walls breathing, like the building was alive." The storm surge swallowed entire streets. The ocean met the rivers. There was no shoreline left. In the hills, landslides crashed down, cutting off mountain towns from the rest of the island. Emergency radio calls came non-stop. People trapped, roofs gone, hospitals flooding. But rescue teams couldn't respond. Even armored vehicles couldn't stand against the winds. By afternoon, Hanover, St. James, and Trelawney were devastated. Entire neighborhoods gone, schools flattened, roads blocked by fallen trees and collapsed bridges. One man in Lucia recorded his final message before the power cut. "If we don't make it, tell the world what happened here." When the eye finally passed toward evening, silence fell, the kind that only comes after chaos. Across Jamaica, 13 confirmed dead, hundreds injured, over 100,000 displaced. Montego Bay's coastline was unrecognizable, resorts flattened, yachts thrown onto highways. Prime Minister Andrew Holness declared a national emergency, calling Melissa a catastrophe beyond anything in our history. Meteorologists later confirmed Melissa's pressure at landfall, 892 millibars, tied the all-time Atlantic record. Jamaica had faced hurricanes before, but never like this. Before dawn on Wednesday, October 29th, Melissa struck again, this time near Chivarico, west of Santiago de Cuba. Now a Category 3, it brought winds around 115 miles per hour and torrential rain. Mudslides hit villages in the Sierra Maestra Mountains, burying roads. Over 60,000 Cubans were evacuated ahead of landfall, a move that saved many lives. By midday, Melissa moved back over water, leaving behind flooded towns and collapsed bridges. Now, racing northeast, Melissa is expected to brush the central and eastern Bahamas late Thursday, possibly regaining Category 4 strength over warm waters. The storm could pass near Bermuda this weekend, bringing destructive waves and coastal flooding. Forecasters call Melissa a large and extremely dangerous system with a history of catastrophic impact. Drone and aerial footage from western Jamaica is now revealing the full scale of Hurricane Melissa's devastation. What were once vibrant coastal communities in parishes like St. Elizabeth, Hanover, and Westmoreland are now scenes of widespread flooding and destruction. Entire neighborhoods are submerged, roofs are gone, power lines hang twisted over streets that have become rivers. Reports show more than 530,000 Jamaicans lost electrical power after the hurricane made landfall. Extreme rainfall, up to 30 inches in some areas, combined with a storm surge that reached more than 13 feet, wiping away coastal defenses and pushing seawater deep inland. In Montego Bay, hotels stand gutted by the wind, their swimming pools filled with rubble and debris. Fishing boats rest on highways miles from the shore. Hillside villages in the interior are cut off by landslides, and many roads remain impassable. Rescue teams are working non-stop. Helicopters are airlifting supplies to isolated areas. Communication remains limited, with internet connectivity down to less than half of normal capacity, and power crews are battling collapsed infrastructure to restore electricity. The images are heartbreaking. From above, Jamaica's northwest coast looks more like a disaster zone than a tropical paradise. But amid the ruin, signs of resilience appear. Families wave to drone cameras to show they are alive. Neighbors share food and water. Volunteers help clear debris by hand. What the new footage shows is not only destruction, but determination. Jamaica has been battered, flooded, and broken, yet its people refuse to give in. The damage is immense, but the spirit of the island remains stronger than the storm. Tonight, the Caribbean begins counting its losses. In Jamaica, 700,000 people remain without power, dozens of towns still isolated. In Cuba, tens of thousands displaced, roads washed away, and communication down. Early estimates put total damages above $10 billion. Yet amid the wreckage, hope survives. Neighbors share food. Volunteers dig through debris. Shelters overflow not with fear, but with courage. One Jamaican rescuer said, "We've lost everything, except our will to rebuild." Hurricane Melissa will be remembered not just for its power, but for the people who refused to break. The winds are gone now, but the memory of that morning will never fade.